Joseph Louis Bernardin, April 2, 1928, November 14, 1996, was an American cardinal of the Catholic Church. He served as Archbishop of Chicago from 1982 until his death, and was elevated to the cardinalate in 1983. Biography: Joseph Bernardin was born on April 2, 1928, in Columbia, South Carolina, to Joseph and Maria Simeon Bernardin, an Italian immigrant couple. He was baptized and confirmed at St. Peter's Catholic Church in Columbia. His father died of cancer when Bernardin was 6. He took responsibility for his younger sister, Elaine, while his widowed mother worked as a seamstress. Bernardin's original academic ambition was to become a physician, inspiring him to enroll in the pre-medical program at the University of South Carolina. He then transferred to St. Mary's Seminary in Baltimore, Maryland. He graduated with a Bachelor of Arts degree in philosophy in 1948, and subsequently enrolled in the Catholic University of America to complete his theological studies. On April 26, 1952, Bernardin was ordained a priest of the Diocese of Charleston by John J. Russell at St. Joseph Church. This diocese covers the entire state of South Carolina. During his 14-year tenure at the Diocese of Charleston, Father Bernardin served under 4 bishops in capacities including Chancellor, Vicar General, Diocesan Counselor, and, when the see was vacant, Diocesan Administrator. In 1959, Pope John XXIII named Bernardin a papal chamberlain with the title Very Reverend Monsignor. Auxiliary Bishop of Atlanta. On March 9, 1966, Pope Paul VI appointed Monsignor Bernardin titular Bishop of Liguria and Auxiliary Bishop of the Archdiocese of Atlanta. His episcopal consecration took place on April 26, 1966 at the hands of his mentor, the Archbishop of Atlanta, Paul Hallinan. Bernardin, only 38 years old, thus became the youngest bishop in America. From 1966 to 1968, Bishop Bernardin served as rector of the Cathedral of Christ the King in Atlanta, Georgia. According to Monsignor Kenneth Vello, a former executive aide to Bernardin and head of the Catholic Church Extension Society, it was in the predominantly Baptist American South that Bernardin learned ecumenism. General Secretary of National Conference, in 1968, he resigned as Auxiliary Bishop of Atlanta to become the first General Secretary of the National Conference of Catholic Bishops, a post he held until 1972. In 1969, Bishop Bernardin was instrumental in founding one of the conference's most influential and successful programs, the Anti-Poverty Campaign for Human Development. Archbishop of Cincinnati, Pope Paul VI appointed Bernardin Archbishop of Cincinnati on November 21, 1972. And he was installed there December 19, 1972. Bernardin served the Metropolitan See of Cincinnati for nearly 10 years. While there he appointed the first woman editor of the archdiocesan newspaper, the Catholic Telegraph. While Archbishop of Cincinnati, Bernardin was named to the Sacred Congregation of Bishops, elected to the Permanent Council of the Synod of Bishops and was elected President of the National Conference of Catholic Bishops. He worked to improve relations between Catholics and Jews, strove for better understanding between the Catholic Church and Protestant denominations, and made pastoral visits to both Poland and Hungary. Archbishop of Chicago, following the death of Cardinal John Cody of Chicago, Pope John Paul II chose Archbishop Bernardin, already prominent among his fellow American bishops, to lead the Archdiocese of Chicago. He was appointed the 12th Bishop and 7th Archbishop of Chicago on July 10, 1982. On August 25, 1982, he was formally installed in that role by the Apostolic Delegate, Pio Aggi. Bernardin found an archdiocese in disarray, its priests disheartened by years of arbitrary administration and charges of financial misconduct. With his patient charm and willingness to listen, Bernardin won back the confidence of the clergy and the laity. Elevation to Cardinal. In the consistory of February 2, 1983, he was elevated to the Sacred College of Cardinals by Pope John Paul II as Cardinal Priest of Gesù Divino Lavorator, Jesus the Divine Worker, as his titular church. He also served as President of the National Conference of Catholic Bishops. Honorary degrees and awards. In 1989, Bernardin was awarded the F. Sadlier-Dinger Award by educational publisher William H. Sadlier, Incorporated, in recognition of his outstanding contributions to the ministry of religious education in America. An award sponsored by the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops called the Joseph Cardinal Bernardin Award for Social Justice and Anti-Poverty is awarded to Catholic youths who are considered to have provided outstanding advocacy in this area. In May 1983, Bernardin received an honorary Doctor of Laws degree from the College of the Holy Cross and served as the commencement speaker. In 1995, Bernardin was honored by the University of Notre Dame when he received their highest honor, the Leiter Medal. The Leiter Medal is an annual award given by the University of Notre Dame in recognition of outstanding service to the Roman Catholic Church and society. The award is given to an American Catholic whose genius has ennobled the arts and sciences, illustrated the ideals of the Church and enriched the heritage of humanity. Joseph Bernardin was inducted as a laureate of the Lincoln Academy of Illinois and awarded the Order of Lincoln, the state's highest honor, by the Governor of Illinois in 1997 in the area of religion. Clerical abuse scandal. Bernardin implemented a policy concerning priests accused of sexual misconduct with minors. He removed more than a score of priests and established a new review board, made up primarily of lay people. Bernardin's reforms concerning this issue soon served as a model for other dioceses across the nation. Bernardin himself said in a press conference that he had been accused of sexual misconduct. Former seminarian Stephen Cook claimed to have been abused by Bernardin and another priest in the 1970s. However, Cook subsequently dropped Bernardin from his lawsuit, being no longer certain that his memories, which had emerged while he was under hypnosis, were accurate. The two later reconciled. Cook later said that he had relied on people who told him things that were not true, asserting that he is absolutely convinced of Bernardin's innocence. Final illness. In June 1995, following a string of international visits and pilgrimages, Bernardin underwent surgery for pancreatic cancer. On August 30, 1996, Bernardin told his flock that the cancer had returned, was in his liver, and was inoperable. He turned over the day-to-day administration of the Archdiocese to his Vicar General and Auxiliary Bishop, Most Reverend Raymond Goddard. Bernardin then began to focus much of his ministry on the sick, and became the unofficial chaplain to Chicago cancer patients. On September 23, Bernardin traveled to Rome to visit with Pope John Paul II and visit Assisi. It was on that trip that Bernardin made his funerary arrangements. Upon his return to Chicago, he arranged for the care for his mother, whom he visited daily at her nursing home, and the distribution of his personal possessions. Bernardin arranged for his personal papers and administrative files to be transported from the residence and pastoral center to the Archdiocese of Chicago's Archives and Records Center. 2 weeks before his death, he completed his best-selling book about the end of life and about his own approaching death in particular, called The Gift of Peace, with the help of his friend and biographer Eugene Kennedy. In his final weeks, he was also awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Bill Clinton. He gave a major Seamless Garment of Life address at Georgetown University, where he received an award from and conversed with Father Leo J. O'Donovan, S.J., then Georgetown's president. He said goodbye to 800 of the diocesan and religious clergy of the Archdiocese at Holy Name Cathedral weeks before his death. On October 7, Bernardin met with the presbyterate, and by the end of October, he withdrew from his active ministry due to his deteriorating strength. In his last days, Bernardin wrote to the United States Supreme Court against assisted suicide. On November 14, 1996, Bernardin died from pancreatic cancer at the age of 68. The funeral homily was given by his friend Reverend Monsignor Kenneth Villo. In the weeks before his death, he emphasized to the faithful and the public that he was at peace because of his life's profound reliance on God's sustaining grace in his ministry and his struggles with cancer, seeing death as a continuation and a friend to prepare properly for by conducting ourselves well and letting go to abandon oneself to God in the end. He was interred in the Bishop's Mausoleum at Mount Carmel Cemetery, Hillside, Illinois, following a funeral mass celebrated by his good friend Cardinal Roger Mahony and a wake for priests at which his good friend Father Scott Donahue spoke.